Hello students, how are you all? I hope you all are fine and doing well. Myself, Shweta Man from Green Valley English School is here to teach you class 8 biology. We started with our chapter ecosystem, and in our last class we studied about interdependence of plants and animals, that is dependence of animals on plants and dependence of plants on animals, as well as we studied about types of interdependence. Today we are going to study about flow of energy. The sun, as you know, is the ultimate source of energy on earth. This energy is called solar energy. All living organisms need solar energy for their survival. Animals cannot utilize solar energy directly. Only green plants can utilize them. So, green plants contain chlorophyll, and that chlorophyll traps solar energy, and they use this energy to make their food during the process of photosynthesis. And all animals, whether they are herbivores or carnivores, directly or indirectly depend on plants for their food. So, concept of energy in ecosystem. Energy is the capacity to do work. What is energy? Energy is the capacity to do work, and biological activities require consumption of energy which ultimately comes from sun. Except for the deep sea hydrothermal ecosystem, sun is the source of energy for all the ecosystem on earth. Of the total incident solar radiation, less than 60% of it is photosynthetically active radiation. Solar energy of the sun is transformed into chemical energy, that is ATP, adenosine triphosphate, by the process of photosynthesis. Then it is stored in plant tissues and then transformed into mechanical and heat form of energy during metabolic activities. So, components of solar energy flow in ecosystem. First one is sun. The energy used for all the plant-like processes is derived from the solar radiations, and all the animals are further dependent on plants. About 34% of the sunlight reaching the Earth's atmosphere is reflected back by clouds and dust. 10% is held by ozone layer, water vapor and other atmospheric gases, and the rest 56% reaches the Earth's surface, and out of that only 2 to 10% is used by plants, and the remaining is absorbed as heat by water or the ground. Now, producers. The green plants, as you know, in the ecosystem, that is terminology, are called producers. In a terrestrial ecosystem, major producers are herbaceous and woody plants. Likewise, primary producers in aquatic system are various species like phytoplankton, algae and higher plants. Now, let us talk about consumers. Who are the consumers? All animals depend on plants, whether directly or indirectly, for their food needs. Hence, they are called as consumers and also heterotrophs. Now, let us know about decomposers. The heterotrophic organisms, mainly fungi and bacteria, which meet their energy and nutrient requirements by degrading dead organic matter or detritus, are called decomposers. They are also known as saprotrophs. Plants capture only 2 to 10% of the PAR, and this small amount of energy sustains the entire living world. So, it is very important to know how solar energy captured by plant flows through different organisms of an ecosystem. This can be shown by the following systematic diagram, where sun radiant energy is generated and it is utilized by producers. After that, it is converted into chemical energy and it is utilized by consumers and decomposers. And from the producers, it is again converted into heat energy, and from decomposers, it is again converted into heat energy. So, when I talk about ecological energetics, ecological In ecological energetics, we consider quantity of energy reaching an ecosystem per unit of area per unit time. Then quantity of energy trapped by green plants and converted to a chemical form, that is photosynthesis, and the quantity and path of energy flow from green plants to organisms of different trophic levels over a period of time is known as area, or energy flow from producers to consumers. Then we will study about interconnection among organisms. All the organisms in an ecosystem are connected in a very intricate manner, and the energy flow occurs through these interconnections. These interconnections can be depicted by food chains to understand the basic connection between organisms. In reality, they are not more complexly interconnected. There are many types of food chains operating in nature. Major one among them are grazing food chain and detritus food chain. A simple GFC is depicted below. Likewise, here it is showing that sun energy, carbon dioxide combines with water under the presence of sun, and it is utilized by producers to make its food by the process of photosynthesis. Then producers are taken in by primary consumers, and primary consumers are utilized by secondary consumers. Then secondary consumers are utilized by tertiary consumers. After that, tertiary consumers are decomposed after death and decay, as well as producers also. Then again these decomposers, what they do? They help the producers to grow. Clear, children? So again, what is flow of energy? As you know, that sun is the ultimate source of energy on earth, and this energy is called as solar energy. All living organisms need solar energy for their survival. Animals cannot utilize solar energy directly. Only green plants can utilize it. So green plants contain chlorophyll that traps solar energy, and they use this energy to make their food by the process of photosynthesis. And all animals, whether they are herbivores or they are carnivores, directly or indirectly depend on plants for their food. Now, next we are going to study about food chain. When I talk about food chain, what is food chain? A series of organisms linked together by the process of eating and being eaten for food is called a food chain. What is a food chain? A series of organisms linked together by the process of eating and being eaten for food is called food chain. Example is grass, that is a producer, is eaten by deer, that is a herbivore, and deer is eaten by a lion, that is a carnivore. This represents a simple food chain like grass is eaten by deer, deer is eaten by lion. And in a typical food chain, producers, that is plants, are eaten by primary consumers, that is they are herbivores, and the primary consumers are eaten by secondary consumers, that are primary carnivores. And finally, the secondary consumers are eaten by tertiary consumers or top consumers, that are also called as top carnivores. For example, what is the example? Grass, that is a producer, is eaten by a grasshopper, that is a herbivore, which in turn is eaten by a frog, that is a primary carnivore, and the frog is eaten by a snake, that is a secondary carnivore, and the snake is eaten by an eagle, that is a top carnivore, and this forms a food chain. What I told you that if I talk about grass is eaten by deer and deer is eaten by lion, this represents a simple food chain in which producer is eaten by herbivore and herbivore is eaten by carnivore. But in a typical food chain, what happens? Producers, the plants, are eaten by primary consumers who are herbivores, and the primary consumers are eaten by secondary consumers who are primary carnivores, and finally the consumers or Finally, the secondary consumers are eaten by tertiary consumers or top carnivores. Okay, then what is the example? Example, I gave you grass. That is the producer is eaten by grasshopper, that is a herbivore. And then when I talk about grasshopper, it is eaten by a frog, that is a primary carnivore. And then frog is eaten by a snake, that is a secondary carnivore. And then snake is eaten by eagle, that is a top carnivore. And some other possible chains, if I tell you the examples, are like grass is eaten by rabbit and rabbit is eaten by fox. And one more I can tell you, plant. Plant is eaten by goat and goat is eaten by man. Next is plant is eaten by, grass is eaten by grasshopper and grasshopper is eaten by lizard and lizard is eaten by crow. So what about again, the grass is eaten by buffalo and buffalo is eaten by leech. Leech is the parasite. Which is the parasite. And then plant is eaten by caterpillar. Caterpillar is eaten by small bird and small bird is eaten by falcon. And when any member is affected, the entire food chain gets disturbed. What happens? The entire food chain gets disturbed. Suppose all the lions disappear from a forest. What will happen? The population of deer would increase, and when there are too many deer in a forest, there will not be sufficient grass for deer and other herbivore animals to eat. As a result, they will also die due to starvation. Yes, due to lack of food. And in a food chain, transfer of energy takes place from one organisms to another in form of food. What I told you that in food chain, transfer of energy takes place from one organism to another in form of food. The flow of energy of a food chain is called as energy flow, and each level is called a trophic level. What is it is called? I told you that this type of flow of energy in a food chain is called as energy flow, and each level is called a trophic. What it is called? It is called a trophic level. There are different trophic levels, like trophic level 1, that is green plants producers, trophic level 2, that are herbivores or plant eaters, that is primary consumers, and trophic level 3, that is primary carnivores or secondary consumers. Then trophic level 4, that is secondary carnivores or tertiary consumers, and trophic level 5, that are top carnivores or quaternary consumers. Again, I will be telling you about, I told you that the flow of energy in a food chain is called as energy flow, and each level is called a trophic level. What is each level called? It is called a trophic level, and there are different trophic levels, like trophic level 1. What is that? Green plants, that is producers. Trophic level 2, herbivores or plant eaters, that are also known as primary consumers. Then trophic level 3, that is primary carnivores, or they are also called as secondary consumers. Then trophic level 4, that is secondary carnivores, or they are also called as tertiary consumers. And the last one is trophic level 5, that is top carnivores or quaternary consumers. During energy flow in a food chain, at each trophic level, most of the energy is lost in the environment to the next level. So, what I told you that during energy flow in a food chain, what happens at each trophic level, most of the energy is lost in the environment and very little energy is transferred to the next level. And this flow of energy goes up to a certain level. After this, there is almost no energy left to be transferred. Thus, the energy passes unidirectionally from producers to consumers. What happens? The energy passes unidirectionally from producers to consumers. This was about food chain. So, let us again talk about food chain. As you know that a food chain is the path by which energy passes from one living thing to another. So, In food chain, three things came around you, that are producers, consumers and decomposers. When I talk about producers, producers make their own food, and green plants use energy from the sun to make food, and producers are on the bottom of the food chain. What about consumers? I told you that consumers hunt, gather and store food because they cannot make their own food. There are three types of consumers, that is herbivores, carnivores and omnivores. Herbivores are those animals who eat plants such as grasshoppers, rabbits, squirrels, deer and pandas. Then who are the carnivores? Carnivores are those animals who only eat other animals such as tiger, lion, hawks, wolves and jaguars. Then comes omnivores. Animals who eat both plants and animals are called as omnivores, such as human beings. We are omnivores. We eat plants as well as animals and bears. Then decomposers. Who are the decomposers? The microorganisms that are able to break down large molecules into smaller parts are called as decomposers. Decomposers return the nutrients that are in a living thing to the soil. Okay? Then a food chain is a simplified way to look at the energy that passes from the producers to consumers. So, as I told you that this is a food chain in which after trapping the sun energy, green plants make their food and they are the producers, and green plants are eaten by the herbivores and they are the consumers, and the herbivores are eaten by the carnivores, and the carnivores after death and they decompose, and again after decomposition they give nutrients to the green plants. Types of food chains. Aquatic food chain, that is water related food chains with sea plants and animals, and terrestrial food chains are those food chains that are land related food chains with land plants and animals. Then predators and prey. Predators are an animal that captures and eats other animals, and prey the animals that is captured and eaten. Again I am telling you, predators are those animals that captures and eat other animals, and prey are those animals that is captured and being eaten. So now this was about food chain. Now let us know about food web. What is food web? In nature, a single food chain does not work independently. What I told you, that in nature, a single food chain does not work independently, and there are a number of food chains that are linked together. Then several food chains of a region interconnect to form a food web, and in a food web, each organism can be eaten by two or many other organisms, and these organisms can also be eaten by several other organisms. Thus, a food web gives stability to an ecosystem. Again, let us know about food web. What is a food web? In nature, as I told you, that a single food chain does not work independently, and there are a number of food chains that are linked together, and several food chains of a region interconnect to form a food web. And in a food web, what happens? Each organism can be eaten by two or many other organisms, and these organisms can be eaten by several other organisms. Thus, a food web gives stability to an ecosystem. Now, let us see an example of food chain that from the food web. Okay, how it is that as you know that greens are eaten by rabbit and rabbit is eaten by fox. So, here the rabbit can be food of the fox as well as the food of an eagle, and the eagle can eat both the mouse and the rabbit. So, all the food chains are interconnected and form a food web. A more realistic way of looking at the relationship of plants and animals in an environment is food web. Several food chains are linked together. A predator from one another food chain. So how many food chains can you make from this food web? Tell me. Yes. Plant is eaten by, grains are eaten by rabbit, mouse, okay, and mouse is eaten by a snake, snake is eaten by eagle, and I can also say that mouse is also eaten by an eagle. Am I right? And plants are also eaten by a rabbit. So these all are interlinked. So what I was telling you that what is a food web? Food web, in nature, a single food chain does not work independently, and there are a number of food chains that are linked together, and several food chains of a region interconnect to form a food web. And what is the importance of food web? Yes, it gives alternative food to the organisms. The first thing which is very important, that it gives alternative foods to the organisms. It ensures better chances of survival to organisms in case of scarcity of food, and it gives more stability to an ecosystem than a food chain. Again, let us revise. There I have told you the three importance of food web. The first one is that it gives alternative foods to the organisms. It ensures better chances of survival to organisms in case of scarcity of food, and it gives more stability to an ecosystem than a food chain. This was all about food chain and food web. In our next class, we'll study about